The faces of epilepsy across the globe.
As founder and president of Hidden Truths Project, I've had the extreme fortune of working with over 360 individuals from across the globe who live with the challenges of epilepsy. They come from very rich and diverse backgrounds. These individuals have boldly shared their lived experiences, discrimination and stigma that they have confronted, and shared it through their art and stories. Each has demonstrated an amazing resiliency and a willingness to become part of a collective community to raise awareness, educate the public the truths of epilepsy, to combat social injustices both here and abroad directed against these individuals. Epilepsy affects over 3.4 million Americans and approximately 70 million people worldwide. 1 in 26 people in the United States will develop epilepsy in their lifetime. Epilepsy encompasses much more than just a seizure experience. It can affect many aspects of these individuals' lives to impair not just their health, but their well-being. The World Health Organization has defined health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Art has become Hidden Truths Project's narrative to connect this group of individuals to the general public to share their lived experiences. Through our 1 in 26 The Art of Epilepsy exhibits and Mindful Art Workshop, our goal has been to provide a creative platform for those who have been marginalized or have hid in the shadows of this diagnosis. It is a means to empower them to freely share their stories in a safe space, to support them in building self-confidence, self-esteem, autonomy, with the goal of improved well-being.
Hello, my name is Noam. I'm 8 years old and I love to draw. I'm very glad that my pictures are in the exhibition for the Art of Epilepsy. And I hope my pictures inspire other children that have epilepsy to keep drawing and to lead a normal life.
1 in 26 is so important. It, again, as I said, it's able to communicate visually what words do not, and it brings people together. So I feel that there's so much that can be communicated visually through the art. And they say one picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, it's worth 1,000,000 words because it reaches so many people across all kinds of ages, backgrounds, whatever language they speak. And through that, we're able to depict what is a seizure. There are different types of seizures, be able to show those. In the past, my art has been around really explaining the beginning of a seizure, an aura, then going into the seizure, and then coming out. What I've done recently, had a dear friend who just passed away suddenly from an epileptic seizure, and the name for that is SUDEP, sudden unexpected death in epilepsy. I was shocked, as well as his family, his friends, and I realized that that is something that needs to be understood and taught about. So my artwork for this group of art is about SUDEP, and it's about the seizures that comes with an electrical storm in the brain going on and then going into a flat line. So that's what my artwork is about for these particular artworks.
My name is Nathan Plum. I am a fine fiber artist who happens to have epilepsy and cerebral palsy. I am not an epileptic who happens to be an artist. The difference is significant. My artistic career was born out of a physical challenge. My professional accomplishments was born out of an inner drive to succeed. I was never defined or defined myself as someone less capable or less talented. What I may not have always had was the voice needed to speak that point to the world. That is where my art came in. You are raising your voice to ensure you are heard. You are raising your voice to ensure you are not ignored. It took me years before I realized how my art gave me a voice. The people I chose as subjects, people like Dr. Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Albert Einstein, all are figures whose voices changed the thinking and the culture of the world. Even a subject like Frank Zappa raised his voice in support of the spirit of inclusion and acceptance.
Janet was a healthy baby until she was 8 months old when she had her first seizure. Janet has a love for colors. She prefers to use color combination that comes to her mind rather than following what needs to be the right combination of colors. Various techniques were used to help Janet create her painting due to her unpredictable seizures, which does affect in some way on certain days her gross motor skills and fine motor skills. So through the use of different techniques, we found that she's still able to produce beautiful artwork regardless of her condition, and she's able to continue expressing what she likes best. Janet's themes are mainly evolved around flowers and also the sea, the lake, anything that has to do with water. So a lot of her paintings are in this area. She has developed herself to be an artist, and aside from painting, she has now used her painting to create premium products, from bags to clocks and even to customized shoes by renowned designers. And lately she has gone into a collaboration with a Hong Kong designer for face masks. Had it not been for the Hidden Truths Project 126, The Art of Epilepsy, or back in 2014 known as Hidden Truths, The Mind Unraveled, Janet would not be where she is today. In 2014, the first year when she participated in this event, it was her first time in US meeting with people who did not know her but showing her the warmth and accepting her for who she is. Thereafter, since that year, she has looked forward to this annual event, and she believed that epilepsy was just a condition that she had, but it did not hold her back from developing to the person she wants to be. We thank all the supporters of the Hidden Truths Project and look forward to another successful year for all the participants of this event, and a big thank you to all the supporters of this event.
Our work will only be effective if it inspires others to think, to join in the conversation to foster a more positive, equitable environment. Please join us in our support of the global community of individuals with epilepsy whom have boldly shared their creative narrative to inspire change and equity across the globe. This is precisely the time when artists go to work. There is no time for despair, no place for self-pity, no need for silence, no room for fear. We speak, we write, we do language. That is how civilization heals. A quote by Toni Morrison, Hidden Truths Project. Become part of the movement to impact local and global well-being for those living in the shadows of epilepsy. Donate now. Click the link, www.hiddentruthsproject.com. Credit to the following artists: Film by Ingrid Pfau.